All right, so as I said, this one's a little longer, so we're going to construct a truth table for if P then Q and not Q, and that all is then if this, then not P. So we've got a lot of little different things to do. So let's make a long table here. So we'll have a P, we'll have a Q, we're having a not P, and we're having a not Q. So let's do not P, we have a not Q. We'll have a if P then Q, so let's do a P then Q. Then let's go ahead and do this one because then we can do that piece. So then let's maybe start making some lines here. So then we're going to have the uh, P then Q and not Q. So that will be our next line. And then the last one is going to be the whole thing basically. So then we're going to have the P then Q and not Q, and then bracket, then the not P. All right. So again, we're starting out with two columns that we know, and we're just filling in everything else here. So what do we know? We know that's true, true, false, false. True, false, true, false. Now not P. So that's the opposite. So it's gonna be false, false, true, true, not Q, false, true, false, true. All right. Now, if P, then Q. Well, if we remember, that's going to be true, and then P, then Q. So true, false, that's the one, it's the false one, and everything else is going to be true here. Okay. And then we have this and not Q. So now we're doing and between this one. Maybe let's change a color so we can kind of see what we're doing here. Now we're going to do this one, P, and then not Q. So we're going to do those two together for this piece. All right. So let's put that in. And so they have to be both true to be true. So that's going to be false. That's going to be false. That's going to be false. And then the last one is true. All right. So then our last one, let's make it a different color here. So we're going to do this piece and then not piece. We're going to do this and this. Okay. So doing that one. All right. So uh if this, so we're gonna go this direction here. So we're gonna go F to F. That's gonna be true. Then we're gonna go F to F. That's gonna be true. Then we're gonna go F to that's gonna be true. Then we're gonna go true to true. So that's gonna be true. All right. So they're all true. Now, this has a special meaning when we have all of them in the same column being true, and that's called a tautology. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over here and look at what is a definition of a tautology. So a tautology is each entry in the column of the truth table is true. Okay. Now a contradiction in comparison is every entry is false. So instead of if we had all trues, if we had all falses, that would be a contradiction. And then a contingency is if at least one entry is true and at least one entry is false. All right, so that would be what a contingency is. All right, so while we're here, let's go ahead and do this next problem. And so what we have is we have the if P then Q and P and not Q. All right, so we're going to start as always. So we're going to have P, P, Q. We're also going to need a not Q. We're going to need the let's see what else we're going to have here. We're going to have the if P then Q over here. So we're going to have a P then Q. And we're going to have a P and not Q. And then we'll have to have this and this. And so that's going to be P then Q and P and not Q. All right, so we have that, 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 that. All right, so P, true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. Not Q, false, true, false, true. If P, then Q. Well, it's going to be true, false, true, true. True, false, true, true. All right, now we have P and not Q. So now we're doing P and not Q. So they both have to be true to be true. So that's false. That one looks to be true. That one looks to be false and then false. Okay. Now we want to do this one and this one. So now we're going to do these two, and it has to be both true. Well, that's false, 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 false. So they all are going to be false in this case. And so, based on what we have up here, that's going to be a contradiction. Okay. So we've seen a contradiction and we've seen a tautology. And if we look over here, this one is a contingency because we have at least one true and at least one false. So we have seen all of those now in some form or another. So let's pause there and we'll come back for some more.